going on, family? Welcome back to another video here on my channel. My name is Dr. Brian McElderry, former pharmacist turned holistic life and business coach, speaker, and author. And I'm so excited that you are here with me today because I firmly believe that everyone is properly positioned right where they need to be. Everything in our lives is happening for us. So I'm just grateful that you're here today, and I'm going to offer as much value as I can on this video, previous videos that I've had, and future videos to come. That being said, on this channel, what we discuss is life mastery, minimalism, and entrepreneurship, ultimately to create an abundance of love, money, and impact. If that sounds good to you, what I would like from you, just a small investment, is hit that like button. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button as well as turn on those notifications so you know that a new video is coming your way. That being said, again, I'm so grateful that you were here. Let's go ahead and hop into today's value. Today's topic, we're going over something that I feel like a lot of individuals struggle with on a daily basis. I know I do for myself. Even as many people may know me, they think I have everything together. They're like, Brian, you're on YouTube, you're on these social platforms, you have a thriving business, you have, all this stuff going for you, it seems, but how can you continuously doubt yourself? How can you feel like an imposter when it seems like you're running in an orderly fashion? I think a lot of you may be watching this right now, clicked on this because you felt like I've been an imposter at some point in my life. I felt fake. I felt false. I didn't feel worthy. Whatever terminology you're using in your subconscious and sometimes in your conscious mind, what you are aware of and what you're unaware of, we're doing it and it's normal. First of all, I want to let you know that you can accept that this is happening to everyone. Everyone goes through it. Everyone feels at some point they're not worthy of being in a certain area. As small as the thought might be, the largest authors, the most magnificent thought leaders, the sports figures that you look up to, the actors and actresses that you look up to, the people that you envy on social, maybe it be a mentor or a friend or even a spouse, a loved one that you're like, man, I wish I could be like that. I want that. How did they get that? How are they doing this? We all feel it. We all feel just slightly less than at times. Some of us practice positive affirmations. Some of us continuously try to build ourselves up every single day, but we can't miss the mark to know that this is a normal feeling. So I want to start us off there, that if you are here right now, I want us to start there on that foundational platform that everyone feels this. Everyone has an emotional charge that they are built up with every single day. We have 30 to 60, for some people, hundreds of thousands of thoughts a day. And in that moment, you can't fight the fact that at some moment you're gonna have a negative thought. Murphy's Law tells us that inevitably, anything that will happen bad or whatever will happen is going to inevitably happen. So if something is to come for your life, a lot of us are trying to maneuver around it. We're trying to hold ourselves back so we're not pinned to the back of the wall. We're not putting ourselves in the fire just yet. Inevitably, it's saying that whatever happens is going to happen regardless of what we do. So why not challenge ourselves to be the best versions of ourselves each and every day? Challenge ourselves to tell us that we are worthy, that we do have the it factor. But that doesn't mean that we are not having the thoughts, but we can put into practices. So what I want to do is charge you right now that we're going to work through this together. I have a couple podcast episodes down below that will also be talking about this that I've produced before, but I wanted to address you here on YouTube, on this platform directly, to tell you that we still have a process to go through. We're going through a difficult time of 2020 for a lot of people, but there are some individuals, I will include myself in that have these processes in order to make the best of the most trying times for most. Right? How do you make the quote unquote bad times or the unpredictable times, the uncertain times, the most opportunistic times? And we're going to work through this together here. So if you are about that, If you have now built yourself, Brian, I'm leaned in, I'm here with you, then let's go along this journey together. Don't forget, hit the like button again, hit the subscribe, and turn on those notifications if you have not done so yet. But I'm gonna give you some strategies right now of how you can overcome this, where this comes from, and how we can get to the root cause so we can receive those positive things that are inevitably to happen for us. Good things are here on this earth for you to grasp. But it is us that are in our own ways. We are our worst enemy at times, and we've got to battle through that. So let's go along this journey together. So I'll start us off with this quote by an ancient philosopher named Seneca. He practices the Art of Stoicism and is a very historic Stoic philosopher. So go look up the Art of Stoicism and the practices that it entails. It has helped me over the last couple of years really understand how I can handle the hardships of the times that we're going through on a daily basis, and be able to separate my emotions from fact and be able to put actionable steps into play to realize that life is going to move on with or without you. So which direction are you wanting to take? The productive one or the deconstructive one, right? So he states that as each day arises, we must welcome the day in as the best of all. And we must make sure that we take it into our possession and ultimately seize the day. Carpe diem, right? We must seize what flees. So in this, I want you to know that each day is an opportunity for you. Whether you had the thought yesterday that you weren't worthy, you can change that today. Whether you had it 2 months ago and it's been lingering, you can change it today. Whether you had it for the last 5, 10 years and you're wanting to change today, you can change today in this moment. Once you click off this video or in this present moment that you are listening, you can decide. You have a decision in the direction of your life to say, I'm wanting to change who I am, who I was called to be. I'm gonna stop listening to these negative factors that are creeping up in me because they're my own thoughts coming from either experiences or other people that are injecting these thoughts and concepts into my mind, and I'm starting to believe them. You can change that right now and seize this moment. So I wanna challenge you right now before we jump into these steps yet again that maybe we need just a reminder, maybe we need a pick-me-up to know that you have, yes, an imposter that is lingering around you, that's on your shoulder as a chip right now, but you can simply say, hey, I see you there. I see you there. You can stay there if you want, but I'm not gonna let you control the direction of my life that I'm trying to go. Or you can say, I'm not seeing you there anymore. You have to go, right? But every time, like I reminded you, it's gonna come back up in some way. So you can acknowledge it. And that is the first piece of advice that I have for you. We're gonna start there, is we must break the silence, right? The silence that we aren't acknowledging that these thoughts are here, that we don't see them as real. We don't see them as something that is maybe a part of a dream that we've had or an experience that we've had. It's creeping up and we're just simply suppressing it or ignoring it, but we're wondering why each and every day it's harder and harder and harder to press forward. It's harder to start that business. It's harder to have that conversation with your spouse. It's harder to acknowledge that I need to get my finances in order. It's hard to even look at the bank account at times. It's hard to say that I'm not happy in my job anymore. It's hard. And why is it hard? Because we are not breaking the silence of what it is that we are suppressing, which is that thought that is telling us you aren't worthy, you aren't good enough, you aren't ready. Whatever it is, we must break that and tell ourselves, I see you there, I hear you, I feel it, but we must turn those feelings and separate them from facts. So that's number 2, is we must separate the fictional portion, the untrue portion, those beliefs that we know that aren't true from what's factually true. So what is true for you? You can start right now. So for example, I'll give you an example around me. When I first started my business, there was an identity shift, and we're gonna have more conversations in future videos about identity shifting and how you can change one identity into a new identity and still keep your morals, values, and belief systems intact, right? Inevitably, if you're gonna grow, you have to change. And it's hard because the people around you that know, like, and trust you, that love you, are like, why are you changing? I like the old you. Who are you? Who is this new individual, right? So for me, when I acknowledged the fact that I wanted something different for my life. I had to tell myself that, Brian, you've changed your own body before. You're doing it right now. You've done the research. You've done the work in the wee hours of the night. If you didn't hear my story, or if you haven't heard my story, click down below in the link in the description. You can hear more around how I transitioned from pharmacy into my first business of holistic health coaching, and now to life and business coaching right now. But I had to acknowledge the fact that you've put in the work, and people are now asking you, how did you do that? How did you change your body? How did you become so productive? How did you become so disciplined? How did you, fight through the tough days and make it to the gym? And how do you eat like this on a consistent basis? I just can't. And I began to say, I don't know. I'm not worthy of telling you. Go ask somebody else. But that person is coming to me, and I've got to acknowledge that the fact is that I've put in the work. So whatever it is that you were telling yourself you're not worthy of, you've got to first tell yourself, what is fact? If you've done the work, if you put in the work, if you know that you can help other people, if you know that you are ready and willing to put in the work for that next job, if you have done the due diligence for the next season of your life, the next relationship, your current relationship, you know you're worthy of making that leap to another version, a next level version of you. You've got to tell yourself the truth. We want to believe the suppressive thoughts, those imposter thoughts of who we used to be, and we're afraid to move into this new person because I don't know that person. I haven't been to the future yet. They're telling me I can be successful if I follow this path, but I don't know. Murphy's Law tells us yet again that whatever is going to happen is going to happen. So why not take the leap? We already know the present moment. We already know that we're unhappy. We already know that we're not where we want to be right now. So why not take the leap? Because if we know this moment in time, inevitably we already can predict what's going to happen if we stay right where we are, right? So I could have stayed right where I was before, but I told myself, I see you, I hear you, but I'm acknowledging that it's not true. We must break the silence. We must tell fiction from factual. And then we can move on to the actionable steps of what we can do next. Okay? Now let's move on to the next steps. Hopefully you're excited. If it does resonate with you, please let me know down below in the comments. Share this out with anybody. We're going to move on to the next. So my next step for you is developing a healthy relationship with failure and mistakes. I know many people are various Enneagrams, and they have a certain mantra for their life that, I'm going to succeed no matter what. And yes, but a lot of times we associate success and we associate the things that we are trying to check off in our lives, the check boxes that you're trying to go through, right? I've been there. I've been there. Trust me. We think that it's this smooth path, and we think that, we must avoid the pitfalls, and we must maneuver around, the struggles. And if we just, take a step back and then move forward, if we just observe and look at the where is the trouble? Okay, let me go around this way. Right? And we know that a lot of the times through the struggles, again, we know these things. We're hyper aware that through the struggles is where we are going to learn and grow the most, but we don't distinctly have a healthy relationship with failure or mistakes. And what does that inevitably do? It tells us that we are restricting ourselves from moving in a direction that is going to prosper our lives, because we're trying to be hesitant. We're telling ourselves that we aren't worthy of going in that direction. We aren't ready for that yet. I'm not willing to learn from those mistakes, Brian. I can't fail. I can't make mistakes. But the quicker we have an actionable step, the quicker we do these things, the quicker we can learn, and ultimately the more expedited our results will be in our lives. How many of you have taken months to make a decision, and you realize that 2 months ago, if we would have made the same decision, we could have learned so much? We could have ultimately bypassed all those things, all those doubts, all those restless nights, all those headaches that we've been feeling, the times that we felt down, ultimately to make the same decision, right? Because we're trying to avoid the failures and mistakes. We're trying to work around them. We're trying to not hit them. We don't want to be backed against the wall. We don't want to have struggles in our life. And yes, I understand, right? Ultimately, we are, if we didn't know this, we are a human race that has a fight or flight response. We are adaptable beings. Right? We aren't adaptable doings. We aren't just to be doing things just to do it. We have to be present in the moment and understand that we can be adaptable. If something happens to us, we ultimately have a reaction in some way, and we can control that reaction. So I want us to develop a healthy relationship with failure. The final step that I have for you in battling imposter syndrome is that you can rewrite your narrative. You can rewrite a new story, a new script. You can have new rules for how you carry out your life at any moment. Just like I spoke of at the beginning of this video, I told you that at any moment you can change, but it must start with a decision from you. And that's a hard decision, I know. Every moment that you were in, from the moment you're watching this video to the moment you click off of this video to the moment that you have next after that, and then the next day and the next week and the next year, the next month, the next season of your life, every moment in that time span is a decision. And that's, I know, for some of you, you might need to pause like, well, that's too many moments, that's too many decisions, that's too many thoughts. I need to just slow down for a second, Brian. I understand fully. But if you calculate how many moments we have with ourselves, with others, we have decisions in those moments. And every decision that we make, we have the opportunity to change that narrative. If you don't like the decisions that you made in the past, you can make new decisions now. If you don't like the decisions that you're making right now for your life because you feel like an imposter, because you feel like you're not worthy, because maybe you have not healed the past and you are trying to rewrite your wrongs, you can change that right now. And first, again, break the silence. Understand that there is a difference between fiction and fact. What is true that you believe? And then we must have a healthy relationship with failure and mistakes, acknowledging that yes, I can make them, I have made them, but that does not define who I am to be. That I have maybe receipts right now. Maybe I have a voice to tell right now. Maybe I even have, some sense of worthiness to say, I have a new perspective. No one's experienced life like I have. You have a hand that is uniquely yours. The lines on your hand are completely different from the person next to you. Your DNA is uniquely yours. So we must understand that we have value to give to the world, and at any moment you can rewrite your story. And how do you do that? You can start with a morning ritual of journaling and rewriting and envisioning what your future is to look like, visualizing your success. But in that visualization, I caution people to not remain in that visualization phase, to put action each and every day to carry out the daily wins that you have. So if whatever area you're working on, if it's relationships, finance, a business, you are doing something in that bucket. You are making a deposit every single day in that bucket, every single week, to where at the end of the month, you look up and you're like, wow, my finances have improved. My savings have improved because I've made a deposit. My relationship has improved because each and every day I've tried to be a better communicator. My business has improved because I've made the daily calls. I've made the daily messages. I've worked on the back end of my business. My career has improved because I've showed up a little bit earlier every single day. I've maybe become more productive and more expedient in my work. So maybe I got the promotion at the end of the month. Every single moment you have, you can be rewriting it right now. So I love each and every one of you. If this helped you to overcome, gave you some inspiration, some motivation, maybe some tactical and practical steps that you can take right now, please let me know down below in the comments. I love each and every one of you. We can go, again, more granular on this. If you do want more detailed responses, I'd love to have a connection with you. Check the link down below in the description. All of my links, everything will be down there. If you want to learn more about me, who I am, my about section is there, my story is there. I record it for you. So that being said, hopefully these steps helped you. Hopefully you have a great rest of your day, week, month, year, whatever it is, whatever season that you're in right now. I love you. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.